Oh, did I? Oh, shit.
Don't run over it though.
Here we go. Sorry, y'all. All right, here we go. 3, 2, on you, Jonathan.
Ready to go? All right. Hey, welcome to Table Talk. This is Jonathan Harmon with the J Harmon Home Team, powered by Keller Williams. And I've got this is a special episode. I'm excited about this. We don't typically do this on a Friday, so I'm a little more casual. And not that I'm ever like not casual, honestly.
You normally
let's really be honest here. So okay, well that fell flat right there, but that's okay. Hey, real quick before we get too deep into this, because I know I will forget. Let's give my buddy Brian Nail over at Premise Mortgage a shout out for sponsoring Spread the Positive and helping do that, helping spread the positive here in Middle Tennessee. So roll, Brian.
Hey, my name is Brian Nail. I'm a mortgage loan officer with Premise Bank Mortgage. I want to tell you that I absolutely love being a member of the Spread the Positive Network. It's such a great mission and helps bring so much positivity to our community. It's truly a pleasure to be part of. There are a lot of ways to navigate financing a home, and in markets like this, having the advice of a trusted local professional is key to making sure you get the right advice for your specific circumstances. Whether you're interested in the purchase of a new home, second home, or have a need for a refinance, I'd love to earn your trust. If I can help you nail your mortgage, call me at 615-243-3976 or visit nailyourmortgage.com.
Premise Mortgage is a subsidiary of Premise Bank, a member FDIC, equal housing opportunity. As always, all loans are subject to approval. Premise Mortgage, NMLS number 1894879.
No, that's my friend Brian.
That's a good voice.
He has a good voice,
That's
doesn't he?
nice. And that beat drop. Oh, you were right.
I told you.
It was worth the wait.
For
sure.
a commercial? Yeah, it's fantastic.
Got it going on.
Yeah, you asked if that was my voice, and what's fun about that is I've been told I have a decent voice, but I've also been told I have a face for radio. So
I mean, you can't be good at everything.
That's right. You might get too arrogant, right?
You just got to keep you down. Keep
That's
grounded.
it. So we've got a fun show. My friend Kendall is over here, also helps out with all of our transactions with the J Harmon Home Team, and her husband Ricky is here. And my new friend Layla is here.
That's right.
And y'all had an event last night.
Yes.
Something important happened. What was that?
Who wants to take that? Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, we did a movie premiere, a film called Consider the Lilies, starring Layla and myself. And we did it last night at the Smyrna Malco Cinema.
That's what I heard. Yeah. And I heard it was a good turnout.
Yeah, we almost sold it out. We had a packed house in there. And we had great feedback on it. Everyone loved it. We had then we had the after party over at Seasons of Murfreesboro.
Love that place.
Our friend Raymond
just
he made it. He just gave us a little spread. He made everything really great for us.
Thank you, Raymond. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Raymond.
So before we went on camera, we were talking about processed meat, which we will get back to that topic.
We'll talk about that later.
But let's talk about Chef Raymond for a second, because for a nightclub, his food is freaking fantastic.
It's good. It's good.
It is really good.
His chicken fingers
are
really,
yes.
really good.
If you go to Seasons, get the chicken fingers. Yes.
So I actually really let's go back to processed meat. His meatloaf is outstanding.
I saw him advertise his meatloaf. I haven't tried his meatloaf.
It is
meatloaf.
Dude, it is outstanding.
I order meatloaf. I'm like a connoisseur of meatloaf.
Oh,
it's my favorite food ever.
Meatloaf?
I didn't know there was meatloaf.
With her saying that she likes Spam, I'm somehow not
Come
surprised
on
by
with
this.
it. I like meat forming the shapes. What's wrong with that?
Okay.
It's normal.
It's definitely dinosaur chicken tenders, aren't you?
Yep. Do you have them in the back?
I don't, but if I did, we could sit here and munch on some
Can I get some
dinosaurs.
dino nuggets in here, please?
This is interesting. Yeah, this is an interesting show.
Yeah, for sure.
It's exciting.
All right, so let's go back to the topic that we're supposed to be on for just a minute. Let's talk about the movie. So give me kind of what's the I don't even, do they even make DVDs anymore? Yeah, what's the back of the sleeve say?
Go ahead. I'm gonna let Layla take this one.
Oh my, really? Okay.
Let's see what you got.
So here's the story. I play a character named Diana, and I will say this: this character goes through it. She owns a bakery. She's married to a man named Michael, who's played by Ricky. We have a teenage daughter, and we have some issues with our marriage. And I find out
He's kind of cheating.
He's kind of cheating.
Kind of
Well,
cheating.
he's cheating.
Okay, I was just saying, either are or you aren't. I mean,
so
Let's
you
put it out there.
please the audience what like, hey, this guy's up to no good. And
Yes.
he has an inappropriate relationship with a
Shame on you.
coworker.
Yes.
And
Shame on him.
Shame,
Yeah.
Michael, why you do
shame
that?
on Michael. So
Yes.
he's like hated throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, here he comes again, that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
You hear the booze when he comes on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the audience got into
You're
Yeah.
it.
like, no, not this guy. And we have a teenage daughter who deals with teenage daughter things, and
Yes.
getting
That's its own-
into
Yeah, on
Yeah.
social media.
the
Yeah.
themes of
Mm.
just drugs and alcohol and boys. And so we were joking, my character cries like almost in
Yeah,
every single
yeah.
scene. I was chugging water the entire time because I had to refill my tears.
So
But-
can you cry on like?
Oh yeah,
She
Can
is
you really?
good.
I'll bring
She
it
is
right
good.
now.
You have
Yes.
to.
thank you
Yes.
guys. You have
That's
to see it.
incredible.
Yeah,
But-
it's just like action.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, so it's a story of redemption, story of forgiveness is basically the theme of the movie. And so
Mhm.
you have to watch to see what happens. I don't want to give it
Mm.
all away.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that sounds exciting. So, all right. So we had it at Malco last night.
Yeah,
Is it
Mal-
going to run at Malco for a little while, or?
Maybe. I don't know. We're still figuring out some things. So we got to figure that out. Really, it was just yesterday was just a red carpet. I know
Mhm.
we got a deal. I think it's going to release on some cable networks maybe in December. But so from now into December, just got to figure out what we're going to do.
Okay. So can anybody get it now, or are we just building up anticipation?
Building up anticipation.
Okay. I like it.
But I
Well,
wanted to do the interview afterwards because yesterday was the first time anybody saw it. First time Kendall saw it. First time Layla saw it. Nobody saw it except me.
all right. So I got to ask this question, right? I've been involved a little bit with some of your,
Oh, yeah, that's
some of your
right.
other other films.
Beat me up. Yeah.
And I sat there, and you guys were, I don't know how long that scene is going to end up being, but
Yeah.
that you shot at Cedar Glade. But we were there for
For a couple hours.
I mean 3-4 hours
Yeah.
to probably get what, a minute.
Well, that scene may be like maybe 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so a long time to get a short
Yes,
time, right?
Yes.
So if the whole movie is an hour and a half, 2 hours
Yeah.
long, and that's what it takes,
Yeah.
and that's just the shooting part,
Yes.
right? So then there's
Editing.
from what I've been told by Trent, if you to get 30 minutes worth of
Mm.
footage,
Mm.
you've got 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 hours worth of shooting, and then you've got 10 or 12 or 20 hours worth of
Yeah.
editing and putting it together.
Yes.
So my point in this is that movie that's your baby. I mean, like
Oh,
you have spent a lot
Yeah.
of time and effort and
Yeah.
headspace
Yes.
getting that thing going. So you have this event, you
Mhm.
have it planned out, you have the red carpet, you've invited all these people,
Mhm.
right? How does Ricky feel 30 minutes? How does Layla feel 30 minutes before
Oh,
the
my-
movie starts? Like, are you calm? Because there's nothing you can do about it at that time? Are you freaking out?
For me, I'm gonna let you answer after me. But my first, like maybe a couple days before, it's kind of like, oh my goodness. Then the day of, it's kind of like, okay, nothing about. I just kind of let it go at that point.
Yeah.
But then right before the hit play, it comes all back again. It's like, okay, did I send in the right clips? Is this the right? Because is this the right version?
Yeah.
I'm like, what can go wrong?
Version 1537.
What
Yeah.
could go wrong? What could go wrong? And then I think it was about 2 minutes in the movie where after like all the credits kind of went off, and your character, when she walks in the house and she throws her purse down, I'm like, okay, it's the right version, and I just relaxed.
Yeah, the sound is lined
Yeah,
up.
okay, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So I relaxed after that.
Yeah.
So then I was just
Because
from
they're
there-
either going to like it or they're not,
yeah,
right?
yeah. From then it was kind of like, okay, I think everything, I think everything's going to be right now. It's just, okay, can they catch the story?
Yeah.
So
And this is the first time you've starred in a movie
Yeah.
in many, many years. So
yep.
yeah, there was a
So
little
is it-
extra
I
nerves.
was going to say a little
Mhm.
double
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
going
that
on
was
there.
a double thing. It's like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
on screen, and did I pull it off, or so.
Yeah. What about for
Yeah.
you?
Well, I think it's funny that you're playing it. Well, you're not really playing it cool, but on the way there, he's like, "So how you feeling? Are you scared? Are you nervous?" I'm like, "Okay, listen, I'm not nervous. I'm nervous for you." And he said he was like losing his crap. He's like, "I'm nervous," but for me, I hate watching myself. I know it seems like people say, "Oh, you're in the wrong profession if you hate watch." I really do hate
But
watching.
that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of artists, like music
Yeah.
artists, they won't listen
They
to their
won't
own
listen-
stuff.
Yeah, so I'll watch a movie
Yeah.
once, the premiere. If it comes out again, I'll watch it with my family. But then I'm good. I don't want, but I love going to these premieres and I love watching everybody else work. But
Mhm.
for me, I'm like, it was more excitement. I'm like, I want to see what was happening when I wasn't there. I want to see the choices actors made that weren't in the scenes I was in. I want to see the camera angles, the lighting. Like I want to see all, because there's so many. The crew,
Well, even if you're in a scene, you're seeing it from here.
right?
There's a lens seeing it from here.
Yes.
So how did that play out? And then what did he choose?
Yeah,
and edit in
exactly.
it? Yeah.
There's things I'm not seeing because I'm
You're just in
looking.
character, right?
I'm in character.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
to see it all come
Yeah.
together and see like that's what was going on. Okay, that person did that. Oh, even the background extras, watching how they crossed, because that makes there's so much
For
important.
sure.
The background extras are, if you don't have them, the movie doesn't look real.
Yeah.
So to see all of that happening behind me and people making choice, it looks. I was like, yes.
Well,
I bet it's goosebumps thinking about it.
I bet
love
it's interesting to watch that because you don't have to watch you. You don't have to listen to your part of the story.
Yeah.
So you really can look at
Yeah.
everything else.
Right. Yeah. Which is funny because I say that, but I did find myself crying. I'm like, I know what's going to happen. I did that. I cried right there. And I'm still, but you know what? The funny thing is my mom and sister came to the premiere with us. Now, I know this wasn't part of the question, but to see this, there's scenes where it's emotional. Can I say the part about my mom? Am I allowed to? Okay.
Go ahead.
So there's a scene where my character's mom gets in a car accident. She's on life support. And so I'm in there. My character's in there coming to see my mom. I'm crying. I'm holding her hand. I'm talking to her while she's in a coma. And I'm like, Mom, I never got a chance. I look at my mom and my mom's crying because my mom's watching me respond to what I'm going to look like when I'm talking, it was a meta experience. And no, literally. Yeah. So like I looked at my mom and she's got tears and I'm like, she sees what I'm going to look like when
yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And I was, so that was intense for me to see that. Even though I did, but I still got emotional. So I'm like, well done, everybody that made me the actor in the movie who did these things have that emotion come back up again. It just it was full circle for me to see it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
That's real cool.
So how is it to, because you directed, I assume as well.
Wrote it too.
How do you direct and act at the same time?
That is
like, who gives you the direction?
That is very interesting.
I'm kidding. I did it.
Because you can act it out and you think it goes. I mean, it's like hearing your own voice, right? Like to your point, I never listen to my podcast because I hate the way my voice sounds.
Yeah.
And so I hear it one way, but
it was a challenge. I'll say that it was a challenge getting used to. A lot of times I'm used to directing actors, so I know kind of how pacing should at least go, and that was it. It's like, okay, I know how the pacing should go. Now I just got to deliver it. So it just gave me a better respect for actors who can deliver right on cue all the time. I was like, okay, if actors can deliver on cue, then yes, I got a way more respect.
So did you have somebody watch you and say, Ricky, you missed it on that one?
I don't think, did I? I don't.
Everybody was afraid to be like, Ricky, you missed it on that. Who's gonna come up to the director and be like, that sucked? Do it again.
Somebody needs to sometimes, right?
No, there were times that he was very humble. There were times because he's like, hey, I'm not experienced like some of you. So there were times where he would get through with the take and he'd be like, so what do you think about that?
Yeah.
What should I? And he was very humble in asking. And if I felt like he could have done something different, there was maybe a couple times I said something to you, but
I'm gonna guess this lady right here probably said a few things here and there too.
She's more about the time, weren't you? Did you say anything about my acting when I was doing? I don't remember that.
Not to your face.
We all talked behind the scenes. I'm like, dang.
Of course, yeah, because
No, I thought you did a great job, and I did. No, you did. Act out a scene, and then you'd go look at the monitor and play it back, and so you did direct yourself. You were able to pay attention to what you were doing.
That makes sense.
But yeah, no, yeah, on set, I try to stay out of the director's chair because that's like a skill I've learned actually to stay in my lane. Because, no, he did a great job, and you were on it, looking at the monitor after you did the scene to make sure, and then you'd say, no, let's do this again.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of things. Like I said, for me as a director, it's the small things. Like when she's talking about like the background stuff. So the scenes that I may have to do, like I don't know if you remember the scene where like my character comes in the house and he's late, and the wife has a dinner ready for him, and so I just remembered that moment. I was like, okay, what I need to do something instead of just sitting here. So I pull out my phone and start like playing with my phone. So just those little things, I think, in acting, because I really had no lines. It was just kind of like, okay, she goes and heat up this plate, and I'm like, I need to do something. Okay, yeah, let me just pull out my phone and act like I may be texting somebody behind her back. And then when she comes, I'm like, oh, okay, I put it down real quick. Just so those little things, I think, in acting, and just like I said, what's going on behind in the foreground, just the little things. I know always to do that and direct my actors to do stuff like that. And so I just try to do it when I was doing my part.
Well, and to y'all's point, just a little bit of the scene that you did at Cedar Glade, watching you specifically, and then also watching what's happening, live on the set, it completely opened up my appreciation for a busy movie. You know what I mean? Like a city scene or something like that, because it was really interesting. I was standing behind the bar watching you. You don't even know that I was doing this, but I was like, he is completely, totally engrossed in what's happening right here. So like there was a time or two that I actually wanted to ask you a question, and I looked at your face and I was like, I'm not asking a question, because
I know that face.
Because
Yeah, I
he's
do
like,
too.
he watched this person over here that scratched their nose or something. I mean, I don't even know what it was, right? And he'd be like, yeah, we need to shoot it again. I'm like, that looked perfect to me, but he saw something, and then they did it again, and it looked exactly the same to me. And he was like, yeah, that one was good. I'm like,
What's the difference?
what was the difference?
So it could be anything though. Sometimes it could be the camera, it could be, so I just gotta make it right though. Gotta make sure it feels right. So
it's pretty cool to watch that process. All right, so how do you go about as an actress, as somebody on set? How do you choose? I guess let me figure this out. You're given a character. Ricky writes the story. You're given a character. You read through it and you say, okay, who is this character? You have to get in character. How do you pick your direction? I mean, obviously he's going to direct certain pieces of it. He's got a vision.
Sure.
But how do you figure it out? Do you engross yourself in what you think that person would be? Walk me through that process before we ever shoot anything.
No, that's a great question. So when I got the script, I didn't have much time with it. I think I had 4 or 5 days notice to hey, can you be in Nashville and shoot this whole entire movie? You're the lead. You got to know all these lines. It's what 100 pages.
No, was it? I think about 90. Yeah, some about 90 pages.
It's I know. Sorry, my bad. It was 97. And so so just getting the script, reading through. The first thing I do is read through the whole thing, and I think, okay, I put myself in the character's shoes. But I will say, as an actor, nonstop, what I do on every person I meet, you study a person, and it's almost like I have a little grab bag, and I'll be like, ooh, that person has been through that, and this is how they respond, or this is how they talk, or this is just different mannerisms they have in certain. We've all been through people grieving. I've had friends who've been through divorce. I've had friends who've had problems with their kids, and I'm like, this is how they reacted here, and it's almost like I have this grab bag of people that I've met in my life, and I'm like, I store it up and squirrel these little things away, so when I'm in this moment, I'm like, oh, okay. I remember that time I was sitting on a couch with my friend, man, and she was going through this. And I'm like, this is how she was. Her demeanor was just like, I don't know what to do. And I literally have these stores of, and this is why I just love interacting with people. A part of an actor is you're studying people all the time. I have a bachelor's degree in communications, and one of my favorite classes was communication theory, and interpreting body language and seeing how people move. But I'm constantly studying. So when I think about the choices I make with my character and building these characters, I am a mom, I am a wife, I've been a business owner, so I do have personal experiences to draw on, but there are things I've not been through. My mom obviously is still alive. My husband I hope has not been unfaithful.
Now we're looking at you, buddy.
Steven, can you call me? We need to talk. But my kids are too young to deal with any of that stuff yet. But like I said, it's just you draw on your personal experiences and things that you experience in life.
Well, and humans are so complex, and I think that what makes a believable actor, actress is you can say the lines with emotion, but so like you think about your spouse cheating on you, right? You've got a gazillion different emotions at the same, literally at the same time. There's disappointment, there's hurt, there's anger, there's blame on yourself. What did I do to make you even want to do that? And then there's blame on them. And I mean, like you just go through every single one of those, but they all got to mesh into one thing. And that's what has to come out. And if you miss it, it's obvious.
This is one of my favorite acting coaches said, we would do scene studies and he'd be like, I see you acting. I can see you acting.
Mm.
And it's like this, that hurts. That's the
Yeah.
worst thing you can hear as an actor.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
you're
That
melting
was fake.
those,
Yeah.
he's
Yep.
like, I see you acting right there.
Mm.
And it's like you're trying too much. You're doing too much with your body. Like you
Mhm.
wouldn't be like, what's wrong?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
come on, man.
Yeah.
You don't do this all the
Yeah.
time. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
just keep subtle.
So
And this is why like it's difference between theater and
Mhm.
film, which is why
Yes.
I love film.
Yes, that's a
Because
good point.
I can tell an entire story with just like
yeah.
a squint of an
Yep.
eye.
Yeah.
It's just such they call it micro expressions
Mhm.
in film, and
Yeah.
it's just
And you
those
can't do that in
things-
theater
can't.
because
No,
the
no.
distance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to be
Yeah,
what?
louder and
like,
stuff. Yeah.
Right,
loud,
Yeah.
project.
Yeah, the subtleties is such good in film. Yeah.
Especially with things like this, when we're talking about these big things like, hey, you're home late.
Mhm.
What is that? Like,
Mhm.
and you these questions, but it's
Yeah.
all it's
Mhm.
got to be small, because that's how we are as humans.
Subcontext.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife communicates to me like this
Yeah.
all the
you know
time.
you know what
There
it
is no
means.
word spoken, but I know exactly.
what she said,
Oh
yeah.
crap!
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
Capturing that human part of
Mhm.
just the realism.
Yeah. That's funny because that's how I write too.
Yeah.
I take when I hear people's stories, I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, because I don't know some of the conversations we had when I was doing some of the rewrites. You notice they kind of ended up in the script. I'm like, oh yeah, shoot.
There's a little bit of us
Like,
in all the scripts. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
There were a lot of like responses that you had that I put in there because like the one where Jay says Michael doesn't like chocolate.
oh yeah, that's true.
I was like, that
Kendall.
would send me
Yeah,
right
yeah.
over the
Too bad
edge.
every woman can relate to that
Yeah.
because we've all
Yes.
been there where like some girl, you're in a room and whatever. I have great friends, but some girls are like, they'll come in there and be like they know your husband better than you.
Yes.
And it's all women have experienced that. And it's this streak of like,
Yeah.
oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't want to be mean and say,
Yeah.
but it's those little, I loved
Yeah.
scenes like that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
did.
that was Kendall. That was
Good
Kendall.
job, girl.
But at the same time, underneath, you're burning
Yeah.
mad,
Yeah.
probably at him.
Yeah.
Because it's like and then so I've experienced this, and we get out of the room, and my wife is like, "Why did somebody else know you better than me?"
Yes.
Why does she
Yeah.
know that you don't like chocolate?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was Kendall.
and we're sitting here going,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
dumb
There's
here.
no
I have
good
no
answer.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is no good
Yeah,
answer.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So all right. So here's the next thing. We talked about, 14, 20, 80, however many different shots of the same scene, right? How do you then, you got all this stuff recorded,
Yeah.
and then you go into a room, I guess you lock yourself in that room, put a do not disturb up.
Yeah.
And how do you pick? Like, how do you
Mm.
watch 80 scenes or 20 or 10 even
Mm.
of the same thing? And like, what is your process? Do you look at the big part and you like this big part, this big part, this big part, and
Yeah.
then you look at the little stuff? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I think it's a combination of I go into so with this film, I'll say it like this, and hopefully the editor is not mad at me, but I had two editors, really three, including myself. I had three editors on this film. The first guy did it, and I was like, he didn't catch it. So I mean, he probably did about 50. The first half of it? I don't remember. I think I showed you part of it,
Yeah.
and I was like, this just ain't it. This ain't it. So I got rid of him. And I got another guy to start working on it. And he did pretty good, but he still didn't catch the essence of it. So see, there's editing, but then there's telling the story.
right.
And that's the part. So I was like, okay, look, let me just do the rest. So I just ended up doing the rest of the film. So I think the editor, so it was a combination of kind of three editors. So I had to go back, look at what they did. Some scenes I had to completely scrap, some scenes I could keep, and then some scenes I had to rework. So, and then from a certain point on, I just did the rest of the film. I think it was after the scene at when they're at the bar, or no, the burger bar place. When y'all did that, from there on, I edited the rest of the movie. So I think that was about 20. I think the editor only did about 20 minutes of the film, and then
Oh,
I
wow.
did the rest of the film. So,
Yeah. And in any entertainment, and this is
Yeah.
everything from the news to TV shows to movies to whatever,
Mm.
it's not, the story a lot of times is not in what you do say, it's in what you don't say.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
And so how do you guide the audience to fill in the gaps the right way?
Yes.
Right. And everybody's still going to walk out of that room
Yeah.
with their own
Yeah.
feel of the story.
Yeah.
But you want to guide them to where it's, those interpretations are in a space this big,
Yeah.
not this big.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
So-
sometimes I let it be that big. I'm like,
Do
hey, let
you?
it be as big as it needs to be. But it's like I intentionally do things or leave things out to lead the audience to be like, oh, I think this, or or I wonder. I do that
Right.
intentionally,
Right.
especially like as a director. It's like, okay, this is the perfect time to cut right here. They don't need no more.
Yeah.
Oh, let's cut the rest of this out. We don't, so I just try to do that, as a director.
And that's the art,
yes,
right?
yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
where the art comes
Yeah,
in.
that's telling the story. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then it's kind of like, and then at the, especially with this film, it kind of all wraps up at the end. It's kind of like, oh. So I had I think one other person saw the film right before we released it was my attorney, and he calls me at the end of it. And
It's probably a good idea, by the way. Yeah.
called
Never
me.
thought about that,
Yeah,
but that's probably a good
yeah.
idea.
He calls me. He's like, "Man, Ricky, you tricked me." And I was like, "Oh, I did." He's like, "I didn't know that." He said, "That was good." And I was like, "All right, cool." So yeah. So like I said, it's leading the audience here. Let them get engaged. Let them love the characters, and then it's kind of like from there, pull them back or pull something over their head, or just what just
Right.
kind of different things that I want the audience to get while I'm showing the scenes and stuff.
People are lazy. I
Yeah.
mean, in general, right?
Mhm.
And they're lazy when they watch stuff, but I don't think that they're as lazy as they think they are. Like some people kind of want to be spoon-fed stuff, but the best entertainment is not spoon-fed.
Yeah.
Now, don't maybe think too hard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
all right. Okay, so Consider the Lilies
Yes.
came out last night.
Yes.
We're working on it maybe in December.
Yes.
What's next?
For Layla, go ahead. You go. And
For
then,
me.
Yeah. What you doing next?
Oh gosh.
You got to film a Lifetime, right? Let's talk about
I
that.
sure
Shoot.
do. I got a Lifetime film that dropped a couple weeks ago.
What's it called?
It's called Murder at the Country Club. And I
That
don't.
sounds exciting.
Yeah.
It's real exciting. You can just guess what that's about.
Yeah,
right?
right.
Right in the title.
Yeah.
No secrets. But that's actually, that's streaming on Lifetime Movie Network. It's also on the network if you have cable.
Mhm.
I have 2 Hallmark movies coming out, set to come out in, I think, the spring. And I have a Lifetime movie that I just was offered the lead role in, and we're still working on contracts for that. So that'll be filming in Atlanta actually next month. So,
Okay.
and it's a lead role again. So
Yeah.
can't give any more information out about that. But
10-4.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
good stuff.
Yeah.
How about for you?
Well, Eat Me Up, which we shot over with you. That's going to come out soon. Probably next year. I did another movie called The Sixth. That's going to come out sometime next year, and we're working on all kind of stuff. I mean, I'm getting offers to do, some writing for some people. I wrote a couple different screenplays for people, and we worked on a film called Hope in the Future. Me and Kendall working on that. What was that, a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah, it was just a couple
Yeah,
weeks
a couple
ago.
weeks ago. So I was finishing that up while getting ready for the premiere. It's been hectic, but yeah, Hope in the Future.
We're filming again next weekend.
We are. What are we?
Cam's thing.
Oh no, we do another premiere next weekend. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, we got Cam's movie too. Yeah, I got so much stuff going on.
We've got a lot of
But we
things.
do have another premiere next weekend for a documentary I did called 8 Wonders of the Word. That is
World?
going to be
Word?
yeah. The 20th. No,
The
not
28th, I believe.
28th,
and
yeah.
that is
At
that's a
TSU?
documentary about spoken
It's
word.
a good thing you have her.
Yes.
You know that?
This is the lane that she stays in. That
That's
she
Shayla's lane.
mentioned.
Yeah.
Make
That's-
sure people show up. where
she's
they're
real
supposed to
good in
be.
that lane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
awesome.
She's
Yeah.
very organized.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, the that is a documentary about spoken word
Yes.
in the Nashville area.
Mhm.
And you got an interview with one of the freedom writers.
Yeah, Freedom Writers.
Wow.
You got his last
The
interview
interview, yeah,
before he
one of the
passed
civil
away.
rights work.
No kidding.
Yeah, yep. I got one of his last interviews. It's in that
Wow.
documentary.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So
Well, I want to invite you then. The spoken word stuff. I love that,
Yeah.
and all facets of it. Right,
Yeah.
everything from Henry Rollins to
Mm.
keep going. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Mm.
But we do a thing at Cedar Glade the second Sunday, no, first Sunday. So it'll be actually coming up, and
Okay.
it's called Cypher Sunday.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
have guys come in
Oh, that's
and
cool.
girls, everybody they
That's
come in.
cool.
Oh
That's
man,
cool.
it's so
Yeah,
much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're very talented.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
lot of talent in
Yes.
this area.
Yes. I love. I mean, I really fell in love with it when I was doing that documentary. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I did not realize what
How
they put
does
in-
your brain work
Yes.
that fast?
And I'm
Like
like,
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So all these different things going on.
Mhm.
How do you? I'll end with this question. Just anybody that's watching, you're doing it right. Like you're writing stuff, you're
Mhm.
producing stuff, you're making movies.
Mm.
You've got talent that's coming in and working for you. I mean, your setup was incredible. How in the world did you get started doing this? How do you how do you get to where you are right now? And then
yeah.
like, how do you keep going? I mean, what?
I just turned the camera on and said, I'm making a movie. That was as simple as
That
that.
simple.
That simple. I said, I'm gonna make a movie. And that was it. and I just move forward. And you learn as you go. You make all the mistakes. And like, oh, okay, well, I won't do that again.
So have you ever watched your first movie? Recently?
Not recently, not recently, but yeah, like my first movie. After I did my first movie, I was like, oh, that was, I think, my biggest lesson, because after that, I said, okay, I know what I need to fix, and so from there on, I've done enough to at least get offered big distribution. Not say big distribution deals, but deals on the table. Ever since after my first film, I was getting offered, because I learned from my second film on. It was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and then I just made it happen.
Well, and it's constant evolution.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you watched your first movie?
No way.
Again?
No.
Yeah.
We just talked about this, sir.
Okay.
I don't watch my films and
Yeah.
movies more than one time. Not even TV commercials. No.
Oh wow.
No. I mean, I do appreciate the learning aspect of
Yeah.
it. So I do.
I mean, you got to watch it. You got to watch game film, right? And go back and like dissect it
That's
and
what
say,
I'm
Well,
saying.
I
I
won't
think
watch-
there's
yeah.
benefit to it, but it's also really, torturous on
Yeah.
yourself. And, it's.
The first, I can't watch the first. See, I'll watch this film and like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do better next time. But I can't
Yeah.
go back. The first is like,
you've already evolved way past
yeah.
it,
I was
right?
like, yeah, I'm not gonna do nothing from that over again.
I
you
mean,
know?
even Ricky knows, even when we were filming,
Yeah.
he'd be like, hey, that was sweet. You want to come take a look at the monitor? I'm like, we're going to do
Oh
playback.
yeah.
Never.
She-
I never wanted to see
She's like, no,
playback.
I'm
Just
good.
tell me what to do on the
Yes,
next
I'm
one.
I'm
good.
like, did you like it,
Yeah,
Ricky?
yeah,
Lighting,
yeah.
makeup, everybody's cool.
Yeah.
We're good.
We're
Let's
good.
move on. I
Yeah.
don't want to see it.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
That's so
I think
funny.
the important part of what Ricky's done though is invest in himself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's paid for many of these movies
Yes.
himself. He has
And that's not
I
cheap.
mean, it's
Yeah.
all his time, it's all his effort. This is what he does full time. He has thrown himself into it 100%. And I think
Mhm.
that's where it comes from when you're trying to get investments from bigger investors.
Mhm.
Yeah. How
Right.
in are you? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you see that he's got skin in the game, he's actually gone,
Mhm.
and put his own money up on some of this stuff.
Right.
So
A lot of stuff. Yeah.
well, yeah, a lot of it.
Well,
So
you had a heck of a setup. I mean, the equipment
Mhm.
alone that you had in,
Oh, yeah,
in my
we-
place was
yeah.
unreal.
Yeah.
yeah, that's been collected over time.
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you got to invest in yourself. There's
Yeah.
so many people talk about wanting to be an actor and they haven't taken any acting classes. They're not
Mhm.
part of any, acting group. And there's people that say they want to make films, but they haven't. They're waiting on the big investment. They're waiting on somebody else to come through for them instead of what Ricky did was, hey, I'm just going to pick up the camera
Mhm.
and I'm going to make a
isn't that-
movie.
Isn't that every entrepreneur? I mean, you think
Yes.
about that, right? Like, I'm in real estate, and very often you have people that they go get their license, they take that step because they have to,
Mhm.
right? And then from there, it's like we're gonna hang my license on the wall and
Mhm. That's
sell
it.
some
Yeah.
real estate.
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't really work like
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
Or, and I bet you run into this sometimes. They make a game plan, and then they want to perfect the plan. This plan has to be
Mhm.
perfect
Yeah.
before we roll it out.
Yeah.
And the reality is,
Yeah.
if you do that, you're never going to roll it
Yes.
out.
Yes.
Right.
It doesn't have to be perfect. It
Yeah.
has to be done.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you can go back and
Yeah. The first step is usually the hardest step. If you get past
Yeah.
that first step, you keep going, So that's what I've learned, just anything. Cause like really, we planned this whole movie out. Like I said, Layla came on 4 days before. I was thinking it was 3 days, but it was like 4, and I
Yes.
think the girl who
he's
played
thinking he gave you too much time. Did
Yeah.
you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might call you tomorrow. Hey,
You should have taken me
Yeah, I
tomorrow.
know, yeah. I don't think we get Jace the day before or Hannah, then she'd come in to play the scene.
I-
It was
I
like 2
was-
days before.
I was in another mindset because everything seemed to fall
Yeah.
apart the week before
Yeah.
we were starting
Yeah.
to
Of
film.
course.
We lost our lead actress. We lost
Mm.
I mean, we had a lot of things just kind of
Yeah.
fall apart that
Yeah.
we had to fix that last week.
Yes.
So that
Mhm.
last week was absolute chaos.
And we filmed
And
fixing
that-
stuff on set.
Yeah, and that
Mhm.
rolls into the first week of production where if you're not complete with your pre-producing, you
Yeah.
don't have everything in order for your from your pre-production, when you get on set, it's too chaotic to
Yeah.
And
Try-
expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
you need to have a game plan. You've got a set amount of time,
Yeah.
or else your budget goes.
Yeah.
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 But like you said, though, it's like taking a step, whether it's all perfect or not. And we did. I mean, because I think right before we started shooting, our original sound person got COVID. So it was like,
Oh yeah, that's right.
Why
shit,
not?
We got to find somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's true. I
You
forgot
know,
about
that's
that.
why we flew Jay in. We was like, hey, Jay, can you do sound? Yeah, we're flying you in. Then he didn't even do the sound. And so it was like, yeah, no, so it was,
Jay, yeah.
it was good. Yeah, it was like, so we were really scrambling to get it done. And so when I seen it on screen yesterday, and I'm like, okay, we pulled it off.
Yeah.
And there was VFX that we had to do that I'd never done before. And I just remember Layla, hey, put this on your face and let's go.
It's like, okay, this is what we're doing. You got to look younger. Okay,
Yeah.
here's dots. Put it on your face.
Yeah.
All these stickers. I'm like, okay, what? And we're doing the scene.
Because we had to do
dots
some
are falling off.
flashbacks, and it was like, okay, hopefully this works.
Yeah.
And we did it.
That's awesome.
So,
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's going to be great. You guys have been a lot of fun. Thank you for kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit and some little insight on how that happens. So again, Consider the Lilies, looking for that in December.
yes, you can go to considertheliliesfilm.com, and we're going to keep updating that.
considertheliliesfilm.com.
Yes.
So we got that. We've got Eating Me Up coming out
Yes,
next year sometime.
Yeah, sometime next year.
Mm-hmm.
And what else?
It's called The Sixth.
The 6th, that's going to come out sometime
And
next
we
year
filmed,
too.
yeah, we filmed Eating Me Up at Cedar Glade, and then the 6th we filmed that like outside
Out
of
the
your
side, yeah, I'm
building.
sure.
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
So
And what else can they, if they want to see some of your other work, name some of your other films?
AM Radio, which actually we shot at WGNS here.
Nice.
One More Dream, which we shot all around Murfreesboro. And another movie called Anybody. And it's so funny because I met Layla. We met on that set of Still Is Calm, right?
Oh no,
All
no,
is calm.
Before that,
All is calm.
it was. I didn't meet you on that one. It was
Was-
Christmas.
I wasn't on that
No.
one. I wasn't on that one.
It was, but I was
Yes.
in the beginning scene. You were on
Yes.
the Christmas one.
No, I wasn't on the Christmas one.
That's where I met Brittany. Okay.
Okay, All Is Calm.
No, I met you. Yes, all is calm.
And
It all
had-
blends together, doesn't it?
Sorry, it does honestly. And I remember seeing him. I was like, "Is that Jay Z in the corner?"
I can see that.
And that's so
Right?
funny. I'm
Jay-Z's lost weight.
I know. I was like, Jay Z's slimming down.
I'm
Okay.
setting up the light, and she just going. I'm like, who is this woman over here?
Crazy one with a sparkly dress. Sit down. Do your job.
Yeah,
That's funny.
so that's out too. All Is Calm. So so we got
Okay.
a lot of different.
Well, very good. All right, y'all. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and we'll get those answered for you. And otherwise, check out the movies as they come out. So this is exciting. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Jonathan.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you.
yeah,
Table Talk. With
Table Talk.
Jonathan Harmon.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Have a good have a good weekend. Hey, couple of things going on.
Okay.
It's my show, so I can
Come
do
on,
this,
let's
right?
go, let's go.
Okay.
Yes.
So we've got at Cedar Glade tomorrow night, we've got a low country boil. We've got Gandy Seafood coming out doing
Okay.
shrimp and sausage and corn and potatoes
Okay,
and
all right.
crab legs. And it's
Meatloaf.
no
Will
meatloaf.
there be meatloaf?
I'll tell you what, if you want to come, I will make some meatloaf for
What
What
you.
about some
Really?
dinosaur? What's it called? Dinosaur.
Dino nuggets.
Dino nuggets.
Let's not be
Some
crazy.
type of
Okay.
shaped
Let's
meat.
not be
Let's do
crazy.
it.
Yeah, but that's over the line, buddy.
He's done.
Then I'll be
I've never
there.
heard of Dino Nuggets. What about some Crustables? I've heard about Crustables.
That's not meat.
But I'm saying I've heard about Crustables. People were talking about Crustables on one of the films. I'm like, what is a Crustable?
It's just a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that they
It's a
cut.
fancy peanut butter jelly sandwich.
That's expensive
Yes,
for
exactly.
peanut
That-
butter
I'm
You
jelly.
like-
actually get gypped because it's less bread. What's
I'm
that?
like,
Right.
yeah, what's that? I'm
Yeah.
like, so they tricked us into buying expensive peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Wow.
It's all about the marketing.
There you go.
Always
There you
about the
go.
marketing.
Cute packaging.
It is.
There
We
you
got
go.
that. We got Halloween on the 27th. We got our Halloween party with Bill Stieber. Which do you guys know who Bill Stieber is? All right. Have you ever driven up Main Street and you look over like you're looking towards Clearview on Highland, and there's that one house that goes way overboard every Halloween?
I don't
That's
know.
Bill's house.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Okay.
he's awesome.
Okay.
And one of the things he does, you actually should meet this
Okay.
guy. He does a lot of trips down into the Mississippi Bayou and takes photos and stories and all this stuff, like a lot of voodoo stuff and
Okay,
things like
wow.
that.
That'd be-
So spooky pictures.
okay.
He's got stories, and I've never seen it before, but he plays a saw blade.
Oh wow.
So picture a giant handsaw with a bow,
Oh wow.
and it's
That's a creepy
Stop
sound.
dude, it's so awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
That
cool.
sounds
So he's our
cool.
entertainment next Friday.
Okay.
He'll have a slideshow and tell stories and play
That's
music.
cool. Okay. Yeah.
So that'll be a lot of fun. So
Cool.
all right, thank you guys for
Awesome.
being here.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you,
you.
Jonathan.
Thanks, Trent. Love you, man.
The man behind the scenes.
Yeah. All right, Trent.